Talk to you guys today about placenta preparation and the idea behind why we would do it, and then a little bit of an explanation of how it's done, the safety of the process, and answer any questions that you guys might have. So we'll go ahead and get started. There are going to be actual pictures of the placentas in this slideshow. If that makes you uncomfortable, I'll try and warn you. Okay, so the first thing to think about when you're considering placenta preparation is the job of the placenta in pregnancy. We all know that the placenta is a filtering organ that's providing nutrients and oxygen to your baby. It also has important roles in hormone production for mom and baby. So that's a big scientific consideration. These are some of the things that the placenta does for the baby, nourishing the baby, obviously. It also is excreting waste all the time, continually throughout the pregnancy. The production of hormones is taken over by the placenta in pregnancy, so the hypothalamus gland gets to relax and take a break. That's part of the reason placenta is used to combat postpartum depression. When you're not pregnant anymore, that placenta is gone. It's not going to be doing that hormone production for you. It takes your body some time to turn back on and start doing that. It's the main cause for baby blues in the first couple of weeks postpartum. So the science behind it is that consuming the placenta will give you back some of those hormones that you're not going to be getting, along with iron and other nutrients. The placenta is transferring oxygen and CO2 to and from baby and offers some protection to the fetus. So we talked about this a little bit. This is a little bit more information for you guys on what the hypothalamus is doing. When it's not working all the way, it's going to have a little bit of trouble regulating for you. So it stands to reason that you guys are going to have a little bit of trouble getting back on board, your body getting back on board after having a baby. These are the things that the hypothalamus gland is typically doing for you when you are not pregnant. So for about 2 weeks, your body is readjusting to production of hormones. Your pituitary gland is getting back on board. Sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems are going to be a little bit sluggish. Regulation of hunger and temperature are also things that are being regulated by the hypothalamus. So while that's getting going again, getting regulated, these are some things, some areas where the average postpartum mom is going to see some struggle. Ways that the placenta could be consumed. It's a fancy word there up top for consumption of the placenta. So raw is the least time-intensive way to consume a placenta. That's something that you would have to decide if you were comfortable with. That can be done many different ways. It could be put in a smoothie, it could be frozen and just swallowed a little tiny piece at a time, however you were comfortable. Encapsulation is a process that we are able to do here in the building. That's the most common form of placenta consumption, and we'll go over how that's done here in just a few minutes. A tincture would involve just diffusing some placenta into an alcohol base of some sort over a period of time, and that can be refilled and continue to be used long term. Salve would just be some different oils that would be infused with pieces of dehydrated placenta and used for baby or mother. Okay, I learned about placenta encapsulation from Lillian Mason when she came and did a presentation for us here in this building. The picture on the right is of her book, if you were interested in placenta encapsulation or other remedies for yourself. It's a great resource. It's available on the internet. Do we have a copy in the building anywhere?
We have just the copies of our kids.
Okay, so
not one we can loan.
we don't have one for loan right now, but that might be something that we look into. Not a bad idea. Okay, safety considerations. This is pretty broad, but when we are thinking about processing placenta here in this facility, we're looking to do one at a time, keep them totally separate. We're using disposable cutting boards, and we're processing everything sterilely. So anything that we use that would touch more than one placenta is going to be bleached, and totally sterilized before we would use it on anything else. Any disposable items are of course thrown away at the end of every placenta. If you're going to be doing preparation yourself at home, you'd want to do that within the first 24 hours, or put it in the freezer if you're not going to be able to get to it. So just storing it properly is a consideration. If you're going to be bringing your placenta home from the hospital, making sure that it's stored properly, preferably not in the checks, in a plastic bag, in a cooler, that kind of thing. So just handle it like you would any other raw animal product. Okay, and then the preparation process looks a little bit like this. This is very clean, presentable for you. There's a little more work to it, but we're going to dispose of any excess blood from the placenta that we can. So we're going to make sure that there's not a lot of blood product on the outside of the placenta. We're going to clean it really well before we get started.